So Elden Ring, Nightreign. What do we get into first here? So my first thoughts process on all this stuff is that, oh my god, Fromsoft is going down the same route as GTA just went through. So it's like we've been waiting for 10 years for a brand new um, GTA game to come out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nightreign feels just like when GTA Online dropped. And yeah, and this is also like this could lead into a situation of like, like WWE has factions mode. I know I'm kind of bringing in a bunch of different scenarios here. So the point being that, FromSoft is mostly known for being a kind of linear, it's like, Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Armored Core. They're all kind of a linear, but with like a loop around path. So they build they build their maps where it is multi leveled, and then this loop around here goes down and around, and then you come back up to the bonfire or whatever you want to say, whether it's a lantern bonfire or whatever, and you have a lot of that stuff going on. Armored Core is a little bit different because it's point A to point B, fight boss fight, done. But essentially it's the same, it's a similar map structure and everything. Elden Ring, of course, and Shadow of the Erdtree, um, that absolutely changed the game, and it made it so it's free roam. But at the same time, what was our first criticism of Elden Ring?
The lack of direction. Like the game really didn't tell you much. We're so used to the linear shit where it's beat this, go here, beat this, go here, beat this, get a wrap around, go back to
Mm-hmm.
this point.
And it's like, okay, so,
Elden Ring just kind of threw you out there, and you're like, whoa, okay, where do I go?
and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, the Golden Trail from bonfire to bonfire, that's your trail you're supposed to go through. Sure. Uh,
So
what?
once you beat Godfrey, the Grafted, they're like, where do you go? Because if you look at the map, it says, oh, you go out this way, and then it looks like you got to jump off the cliff into the water and go straight to the castle. But when you get to the castle, you can't, or the Real Lucaria, you can't get into it. How do you get into it?
And that does kind of break it a little bit of like, okay, so now I have to go find a key which is underneath the dragon's ass, and then another key which you got to, I think it was buy it off from somebody if I remember right. And then you get into Ray Lucaria. When I was doing
No,
my
no, no, no. You get it in the other key. You get inside the academy. It's like up in the rafters on a chandelier
oh,
or something.
right.
You get it. You give it to another dude. He goes in and he gets himself killed. Um,
um but yeah, so basically the point being that, FromSoft, their main thing that they made their name off from was linear map design in a nutshell, with a lot of loop around areas. That pushed off into other companies doing that, and of course, then they made Elden Ring, and it's a full on wide open map. So what is Nightreign? It is essentially that wide open map, the Elden Ring design, but you're making it into pretty much a battle royale style that they are trying to push off in the
yes.
marketing and everything as a roguelite. Now, when it comes to roguelites, I would uh,
Dark Souls is weird, so poofy at the end there.
um,
Um, well, if you're gonna do roguelike with Dark Souls, you're going about it. You're setting it up so it should be like a 3v3, like hunter call hunt. The hunter or what the hell the game is, where it's two teams, two or three, four going in. Multiple teams actually going in, trying to go after one target. You can duke it out with the process. You're getting two set turn.
hmm.
That's what I'm getting from.
Well,
That is feel like it should be more than
the, the the thing is though, it's not competitive. and that's so this is basically it's a battle royale that is non-competitive, which is like interesting. um which in one way is kind of it's all right for From Software, because From Software has never done a good PvP game. I'm sorry for those out there that love to do PvP and jump in on other people's lobbies and stuff. um I made a whole video on the online experience of Elden Ring, and it was just like, oh no, the lag
That's
and
do what you did before with the PvP. Is you have set areas that are set up for PvP, but make it so
hmm,
that like you go in, you drop your summon sign, or you walk over. There's a statue. Like they did it. They did it in Elden Ring, I think, wasn't it? They literally set up a room you walk into. You go click on a statue, and then you can go PvP against other
yeah,
people.
and you go into the
That was
arena.
fucking great.
Yeah.
There you go. Keep your PvP over there. Keep it out of the main game because people do not like it. Even back in 1 through 3,
Well, yes,
the anybody can just invade you
and
bullshit.
Nightreign is not PvP. Although I think if they could get the servers run right and you could do a PvP thing where it's like an actual battle royale, I think it'd be actually kind of cool, just because there is something more of an end game there. In this one, it's just basically like, how many times are you going to run
It
through
would, yeah.
and
I mean, they can
how many times are you going to run through
work.
and beat the same boss fight over and over again before you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, I've done this.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah,
When you're gonna learn, like, okay, I dropped into this spot. It's gonna be this boss, and this boss. Okay, so this is how I need to prepare. And then it's just gonna get boring
I think my
because you already know what
biggest
you're getting into.
so when it comes to Nightreign, I think my biggest worry for this, I think that's probably the best word I can use, is the worry on this is that I again, I've seen this before with GTA Online and what happened with GTA, which is the shareholders, and this is something that a lot of people, they don't even think about the business side of gaming. They just look at like, oh, I can play this with my friends, cool. That's the same thing as what the Grand Theft Auto fans did too 10 years ago. There's a reason why GTA 6 is like, they put out a trailer and it's like a billion views, because everybody's like, my God, we have not had a new GTA. And what my biggest worry is right now, we are on a good, steady release schedule of like, okay, we got, what was it? We got Elden Ring, we got Shadow of the Erd Tree. There's like rumblings of something Bloodborne, but there's always rumblings of something of Bloodborne. And that's like the thing, like this. I'll bring up Bloodborne now, and we'll loop back to Bloodborne, because I think Bloodborne is actually a very key thing of keeping FromSoft kind of on track with what they are actually creating and releasing and everything. But then also at the same time, I again, what I've seen from the past over the years is that, okay, so shareholders see that especially if there is any microtransactions whatsoever at all in Nightreign, the shareholders go, oh, we are making money off from this, okay, we need to double down on it. This is what happened with GTA. Once they started making money with shark cards on GTA Online, now all of a sudden everything is GTA Online. That's what they can get the budget for. Granted, on the back end, and this made it so that we haven't had really, so we had GTA 5, we had Red Dead 2, and now we're waiting on GTA 6 for a very long time. Now, you could say the similar thing is happening right now, where but they actually have 3 franchises. So you have Armored Core, which they just brought back, but has no online, has no microtransactions. You got Bloodborne,
It
which
has
is,
PvP.
does it have PvP? I don't remember there being any PvP in it.
They opened up a whole separate PvP arena kind of thing
Oh,
later on after the game
hmm.
came out.
I don't even
But it was
remember
just
seeing about that.
otherwise the campaign was straight single player. No drop, no invite somebody else into your game. Nobody can just drop in and
Right,
troll you.
right.
That was great. I
Um,
mean,
so yeah, so you have, like Dark Souls has been their main franchise. That's the number one, similar to how Rockstar has Grand Theft Auto number one. Um, let's say Bloodborne is their Red Dead. That's their number two. Armored Core, that's kind of like their third series. That's something that Rockstar doesn't have as a third series. It's kind of just like those are the two. Well, Armored Core No, Rockstar really doesn't have a third series. It's just those two series.
Mhm.
So yeah, like FromSoft has three series that they're working with here, and now all of a sudden they're adding in a basically live service game. Because I saw some people go, well, this I don't know. Do you think this is going to be a live service game? It's like, what else could this be?
Mhm.
It's always online. Literally, if the server goes down, you can't access it whatsoever at all. Elden Ring, you can at least play it offline and all that. It's not an expansion pack to Elden Ring. It is a best of everything in Elden Ring. So what do you think what do you think the
Like we
shareholders
see
are
that.
going to say about this? Of like, hey, okay, let's add in a DLC pack for costumes. Let's add a DLC pack for extra weapons. Let's add. They already have the DLC for the
They've already
pre-order.
got the Alexa version, which gives you extra new characters and a few extra bosses. They're already starting it, and it's just
Exactly.
like
And again, this is a mirror
it's no
image. This is a mirror image of GTA Online all over again. The reason why I worry about it,
Miyazaki. Miyazaki just needs to just go put his foot in there and just be like, do it, do whatever, but that's it. That I don't care. We're done. I'm not
I
letting
would
Dark Souls go in this fucking direction.
I would say so. The thing of it, so it is a different it is a different head of the studio that is behind Nightreign, and where Miyazaki, I'm pretty sure, is still head of like FromSoft's main studio that is making whatever the next thing is that they're making, whether it's another Dark Souls or it is Bloodborne something, or it is I don't know.
I would.
We have no idea,
I'm in the boat right now where I'd rather go buy Dark Souls 3, go run through Dark Souls 3 a few times, get it platinum out,
and that
to clutch
is
on Dark Souls. Like, I mean, I'm gonna go get Liza P
now.
because I got that DLC coming up for that. That's. Let's put it this way: the Liza P was good, but it got to the point where it got really repetitive or grindy, like worse than Dark Souls grindy.
Yeah, that's right.
Um, especially towards the end.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm looking more forward to picking that back up on the PlayStation. Maybe with the laptop back. Maybe I'll have to I'll play it on the laptop, um, run through it, and then pick up the DLC for it and play the DLC. Because I still
um,
haven't beat Lies of P. I got near the end, but then my save date got
I forgot about that.
corrupted,
Same here. So
so I never finished.
yeah, but the whole thing of okay, I would rather go back and play Dark Souls 3. What is Dark Souls 3? It is a single player story driven experience versus the battle royale experience that Night Rain is. Now, I do have to say it's because I'll get wrecked in the comments here. Yes, majority of everyone is really loving Night Rain. The majority of everyone that I'm seeing is all like, this is amazing. I get to play with my friends. I love this game. This is awesome. It's the best of best of everything being put into one package deal. All that stuff is coming up. But
That it's like the whole conversation we were having the other day or like yesterday. It's you were talking about it's like it's the honeymoon phase. It's
yes,
everybody's still high off what was it Shadow of the Erdtree DLC hype. Everybody's still looking for that next fix,
I
and that's
yes
that
yes
Night Rain. And the Night Rain fix is not going to be good enough to fix that.
3 hours at a time.
Craving.
3 hours at a time. Okay, 3 hours. And the servers went down. Damn it. I just almost got that boss fight. I can't wait for the servers to come back up. I'm going to get that boss fight the next time. 3 hours at a time. Okay, our friends are together and we're going to finish the round and boom, servers end again. Next time that beta goes live, I'm going to get that thing. That's really the kind of
You're basically at this
the
point, you're
narrative.
just kind of chasing the dragon.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and it's
this is
not a
what
good thing. It
this
is
is what
not
the
a good thing.
shareholders are going to be looking at though is people are going like, oh, okay, we can throw a microtransaction boss out there. Oh, okay, now I got to get my team back together, so that's at least 4 or 3 copies of the game right there, mixed with buying also 3 copies of the DLC to
Yeah.
have that new boss fight. So now we're stacking up DLC and purchases together.
This is
They're going to
that's
make money hand over fist the same way that GTA Online, you get your friends together, you buy everybody shark cards so they can have the house, the car, the da 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 da, and then the next thing you know, focus gets shifted onto online because they make so much money off from it. Now it's a cash cow for this is the one thing where Night Rain could be good the one big positive off from it is if Nightreign is a big enough cash cow, they could take that cash and update the game engine, because that's very expensive to redo the game engine and and get it up to current gen standards, which they really need to do.
Looking in the positive direction, yes. Looking in the negative direction, my opinion on it is, as a Souls vet, is I look at it going, because we're talking about all this microtransactions and all this crap. That's what it's going to turn into, and then when not Kojima, Miyazaki, sorry Kojima, sorry
Japan.
Miyazaki, don't smite me.
Kojima's coming after you with the BB.
Oh yeah,
he's gonna hunt you.
He wants his BB back.
Actually, Kojima would probably be honored. Anyway, yeah, keep going.
Is you go into this microtransaction service, you turn it into this whole fan service thing where you can pay to win, essentially. What happens down the road is the next Miyazaki actual Souls game?
It's not
how is that gonna? The new gen's gonna come in and be like, "Oh my god, this fucking sucks. Why do I pay to get fucking better?"
It's
and then
not so much pay to win though.
Say, here we go.
There is nothing. There's nothing pay to win. It's pay for extra content. So this also brings me. So this brings me over to actually what we just seen in WWE 2K24 and probably going into WWE 2K25 with the and they get this from the NBA series. This is what happens with microtransactions when the shareholders go, "Oh, we can make a shit ton of money out of this." There is roster members on WWE 2K24. I can't. So I make simulation videos. If you go on my channel, on the rest of the Werewolf channel, you see like that's some of the biggest content I make is simulation matches. There is literally like early versions of wrestlers that are locked behind my faction, like persona cards they call them and whatnot. You have to go in and either spend like $100 or $120 to try and get some RNG loot box cards to then go and get this other fight done to then unlock the persona card. It's either that or you download basically a hacked version of it from the community creations, or you have to play like 100 extra hours, which I don't have time enough to do, to unlock the faction card. So what's to say that same logic doesn't apply to Nightreign?
It's gonna ruin it.
Yeah, like, oh, you want this? Well, you're gonna have to, go through some dumb shit to unlock this thing. We've seen it in multiple different things. Now, on the flip side of that,
with the whole Nightreign thing, I have a good point here. Hopefully, you'll see where I'm going here. Because I'm just bringing this up because I would never brought it up unless it was coming up, unless this game was coming out soon. Monster Hunter. Look at Monster Hunter through the last like Try, Worlds, and Rise. What did they do? They give you the base game. You play through the base game. You do all this extra crap at the end game, and then you start to teeter off a little bit. You're like, okay, I've done everything. I've seen everything. Then they go, hey, guess what? We're throwing this event monster, the crossover. We're throwing in an event monster that you can fight every week, every couple of weeks. And they're throwing that stuff in there just to keep you coming back until the DLC drops with this whole new fucking area and like another 10, 15 fucking big monsters you gotta fucking fight, another chunk of fucking story. That's why World went for what's going great. Then it started teetering off, and they dropped the ice lance, and then that brought that. Same thing with Monster Hunter Rise.
Yeah, so Iceborne is actually a great example of that's the equivalent of Shadow of the Erdtree. So they're making they are reusing assets, and this is going to be something that's a topic that we have to get into a little bit of reuse assets. They are reusing assets, but they're doing it. Yes. So you're making a brand new character. You're bringing some of the animations and everything over. That's fine. Reuse animations all day long. Those are expensive to make.
Yeah.
To be able to keep the cost down. but there is an artist going in there actually making a new version of the giants and all that stuff and whatnot in Shadow of the Erdtree. There is new weapons being made and some new animations being added, and there are 4 different weapon types. Like we never had the well we had the fist ones going, but what was it, the Karate Kid fucking movements. I don't think we ever had any of that stuff in any of the older Dark Souls. So somebody had to go in and animate that stuff and mocap it and everything else. So that's where I'm like, okay, Shadow of the Erdtree being full price, I could see that, because you also have voiceover, you have new map, you have quest lines that are being built, all this stuff is there, which is
I
great.
don't have a problem with reusing assets, like taking this particular enemy. Okay, this you ran this game, this enemy late early in the game, then you go around and boom, here's essentially the same enemy with a new paint job on it,
Mhm.
but it's tougher. It's got maybe tweak one or two new little things into the moveset,
Yeah.
but it's different. Like I mean, you'll see it throughout the Dark Souls thing. Like we'll go with oh god, who can I start with on this one? We'll go with Sylph, the goodest boy. You see that attack animation reused in any large, very large
The 3 dogs that's at the end of Nightreign,
monster.
that's just the wolf times 3, and then they put the sword as on a chain. Like, I don't mind that. I don't mind it. It's like the gimmick of it is it's a fiery wolf, and then I think he also shoots fireballs at you now. So it's not just that they add one extra thing on top of it. I don't mind. I think my biggest so actually to continue with like some examples from other games that did it for free. UFC, they reuse assets all the time, but it's free updates. So you have like this UFC fighter is the Hall of Fame version. This is one when they just started out, and it's a free update. So you have the 2 different weight class versions of them and this and that stuff. God of War Ragnarok, we have to talk about this, where Ragnarok, they did this exact same thing. It was a free update and had full voiceover, brand new content in there, new storyline elements in there and everything, all for free. Then you also have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where again, new voiceover, new storyline elements, new map areas and everything else, all for free. They dropped that shit. You could just download it. And now Nightreign is $40, $50, $50 minimum for the DLC. So to me, that is just screaming that Katakawa is trying to make a lot of bank before possibly the Sony partnership, as we'll say. And a lot of people are going to start complaining that, well, Sony's the reason why you have to purchase it. It's not Sony, because the deal has not gone through yet. They don't own Katakawa, so Sony is not making any executive decisions on the publishing arc of this.
I agree with the whole. They're trying to make some bank off this real quick. Okay, cool. If this is Katakawa's way of going, we need to hurry up and make some bank off this thing, because Sony's gonna use, soon as if we decide to go through with this whole thing and we do join Sony and Sony exclusive, we need all the money we can get our hands on to work on hopefully, like you were talking about, the game engine needs an overhaul.
Yep.
And B, what's the next big game are we throw out there? We're gonna do another Elden Ring DLC. We're gonna bring back Bloodborne. We're gonna do another Armored Core. We're just gonna make a whole new Dark Souls world. Like what are we gonna do here?
I think this is where Bloodborne becomes a saving grace for From Software. That like Rockstar didn't have this because they only have the 2 franchises that are major franchises for them. So if Sony is buying Katakawa, there is a very good chance that Sony goes, okay, Miyazaki, we have I said the right, Miyazaki. God, even I'm doing it. I thought about it for a second. I'm like, I said the right name, right? So, anyways,
I mean,
damn it. So yeah, Sony. I think they're gonna start being like, hey, do the thing. That Bloodborne thing, do the thing. They're gonna start poking them with the stick of like, hey, like
Hey,
so
yep,
but yeah, exactly. There's this franchise. Well, it's not even a franchise. There's this game that you guys made.
Dark Souls, come on.
So what we know so far about Bloodborne, the actual not fake news information, the actual information that I've heard from the man himself, he basically said he wants Bloodborne remastered, or well, not remake. He wants to do a Bloodborne remaster, but he wants to, and if rebuilt remaster, whatever you want to call it, he wants it to be even better than Demon Souls, and he wants it to be perfect because he knows everybody is going to just really rip it apart if it's nothing more than perfection. And he also really wanted to wait for next gen, so he can actually have as much system resources to be able to make it as big and as polished and as great as possible.
I would say go ahead and throw us another. If something we just had Shadow of the Herb Tree, you're throwing out this Nightreign thing. Throw us a. If you want to hold off that long for it, throw another one.
That's where my thought train was going. I'm
Just
like,
hold, just
there's a giant teaser at
everybody
the
by
end
the
of.
balls and just be like, we're gonna hold you here by the balls until the next gen comes out, and then release game's gonna be this new fucking Bloodborne with the PS6. That's gonna be your fucking 4.0 by the PS6 when it launches.
The ridiculous teaser, the ridiculous amount of a teaser, I should say, that is at the end of Armored Core, the last Armored Core. It's of like, oh yeah, we're definitely getting another Armored Core. So is he working on another Armored Core right now? I mean, he has been talking a lot about like his big masterpiece that he would love to make is something that is like Armored Core meets Bloodborne, and mash some like themes of that together somehow. It's like, okay, that's kind of crazy.
Gothic, dark gothic stuff meets high tech future warfare, and it's like, how the fuck?
Apparently there is an anime that did similar to that, and everybody's like, oh, so you're just talking about this anime over here, and then he's like, I have no idea what the hell it's called, but I heard about this like last year of he was like looking around at trying to do something like that. And then a lot of people are bringing up Liza P, of course, and he goes, yeah, the Liza P is really, really cool.
Liza P is more steampunk.
Exactly, and that's he was like, I'm not going for steampunk, I'm going for the gothic wasteland, but also meets Armored Core mechs. So it's like, what the fuck? What does it even look like? That's crazy. Okay, nobody else has done that.
It's a world that's torn adrift. You got the futuristic society that's all like, we advance with them.
Did you see the secret ending to Armored Core?
I have not.
Oh,
it's on the. Once I get the PC back, I'll work on it. Like right now, I'm debating about grabbing Dark Souls 3 just because I watching everybody play Nightreign has got me that fucking itch. Like I want to give up on running the Rose DLC right now and go grab right now. Go buy fucking Dark Souls 3. I don't know about the DLC because it's like $80 for the DLC.
So essentially the coral gets.
Isn't it beautiful?
I'll just let it
go. That arena looks real awesome. Nice one.
Yes, it is. It's the same one. So this is a portal.
Oh.
So the coral is getting sucked into a portal. Oh yeah, I tried to try and say that on stream 10 times fast.
Thank you, Raven.
So I had a whole video talking about all this shit of like, oh shit, this is where they're going.
Raven, you're finally awake.
The reflection up top.
Yeah, he said in the big ass pond.
coral has carried us, disseminated us across the stars. Now, we're everywhere. Anywhere. Raven. Let's meet this new age together.
Everyone is a mech. Everyone's an armored core.
Main system. Activating combat mode.
Oh god, I haven't heard that in a while. Jeez. Yeah. Yeah.
This brings back
Ah.
the chills.
Every time, oh man, I was getting chills as soon as that fucking everybody starts to lighten up red. It's just like, oh fuck, that's right, damn. So yeah, he is kind of already working on that with the next armored core. It's this like dream project and everything. So I'm like, man, just don't forget about the original. This is also my big thing too. Is like they've made 2 games essentially so far that deviates away from going on that adventure of snaking through this town. Then you end up finding the church that leads into the forest that goes down into the underground swamp area that goes back up into like the main boss area, and then you go up into the king that's sitting on the throne, and then you had that big major, that whole adventure that you go through of all that stuff and the loop arounds, and then like what's around the next corner. Oh shit, there's another boss fight over here and whatnot. I'm really afraid that they are getting away from that, and maybe they might be just tired of making that. And I'm just like, but that's the core of From Software, though. It's that adventure and that discovery and taking your time.
Demon Souls, you start out in the rundown kingdom. Dark Souls 1, you start out in the rundown kingdom. Dark Souls 2, if I remember.
Yeah.
3, you start out in the rundown kingdom. Bloodborne, you start out in the rundown city. Elden Ring, you start in the rundown kingdom, essentially.
FromSoft and Elder Scroll, well, FromSoft and Bethesda have that they both have the opening up where it's just naked and afraid opening. That's essentially that's their signature thing of, it's either you're in prison or you're tarnished that has been left for dead, or like you're the armored core unit. You are literally a dude that's on death you're just on the slab, and then plop him into an armored core unit. It's like, woo. But yeah, that's why I'm like, could Bloodborne actually be the saving grace to bring us back to that, or are they going to go the Elden Ring route with Bloodborne, which nobody wants? And this is I'm like, man, first you give us Nightreign, which is like a battle royale instead of it being so. I need to talk about Bloodborne and roguelikes.
I was going to say, not speaking of that in Elden Ring, I would honestly, how big Elden Ring was, how the freedom to go where you want to go, and then find out real quick that you're not, you shouldn't be there yet.
Which is a signature thing of From Software. To be fair,
it was fun. We needed a little bit more direction on where to go, because that would help a lot. But the big, massive fucking world you get to adventure around on and shit like that, it wasn't 100% fucking straightforward path. Like, you had little areas you can go hang out and fuck around and explore and shit like that. That's great. I would love it. Coming from a guy that's played, like, I grew up when I started getting
What's
Xbox
funny,
stuff, I played a lot of Elder Scrolls games and shit, so I'm used to the massive open worlds.
So you got used to it then.
I would love to see that in Bloodborne.
You got used to that then, because I have you on video saying before you hated the open world and you would rather go back to a linear map. I remember you saying this. I have video footage of this. So you got used to, after a while it grew on you then, basically.
Yes. Yes. At first it was annoying because you didn't know where the fuck you were going, how to get there, all this other, where exactly you should be going, because there wasn't a straight line telling you, hey, this is where you gotta go. It's, you actually have to stumble around and figure it out. Because, I mean, after you, like, technically, you don't even have to go straight and go beat Morgott and Godfrey and all them fucking guys. You can go fuck off and do it. You can go fuck off. Clean out, go get the key and go over into the fucking.
Do you remember my first playthrough? I did 2 streams just looking for the Blade Wolf fucking armor, and not even messing with the actual main boss fights. And then I accidentally, snake my way up through to get to the fucking the lava mansion up there, whatever the fuck it's called there. With
Mhm.
this, and I'm like Snake King and shit. What the fuck? I wasn't even supposed to be there. I was way out of my league on even being up there. Yeah, and it's like, oh, you're supposed to go back here and get an elevator that goes up and goes over to this other area. So in that aspect, I am also in the realm of like, it's cool. Do I miss doing something like, when I went back and played Bloodborne this last Halloween and playing in 60 FPS, I'm just like, man, just like just being able to go from like, okay, so you start out in the little was it science experiment area, you beat up a
Mhm.
dog, oh, hunter's nightmare, okay, so there's, you go back in, you're exploring the street side, there's a bunch of people, and there's just so much more story. I guess you could, it's kind of the same way, similar on both sides of things, but it's just more curated, I think. And then, but again, though, to be fair with it, Elden Ring does do a very good job at giving you a story. Comparing to Shadow of the Erd Tree and Nightreign, it's like Nightreign, I feel like there's like the Night Lord again and all that stuff. It's like, if this wanted to be a real roguelike and they really wanted to curate a story going around it and everything, I said this before off stream though, Nightreign should be basically the Chalice dungeons. Right now, it feels like Apex Legends, where you drop in and you have that third wheel, and there's no
Forced.
solo, and
If
and you can't
the
do
ring is closing in
duos.
on you, you're forced to go to a specific
Yep.
point in the fucking map. Like
Eh,
that's
If they made it into more of like a Chalice dungeon situation, where it's like, okay, you and the three friends, or hopefully duos, run through a set area that is also split. So Vadi Vidya said that was, I am guessing Vadi heard it from the developers that it's supposed to be procedurally generated maps, or something similar to a procedurally generated. I'm like, that's not this. This is literally
well,
one map
you're
set.
literally just taking a
Drop
slice
in.
out of the pie and dropping somebody in a specific spot on it.
And it's just like, where is the procedure? Maybe there is procedurally generated stuff, and I just didn't see it because
Procedurally
Mika.
generated would be a whole different different
I
aspects of
I
the
know,
fucking
I
world
know.
would be in there.
Um,
Different enemy types would be everything. But from what I was seeing from your play
oh,
gameplay and everyone else's gameplay, it's the same fucking enemies, the same spots, the same fucking boss. It's the same shit over and over.
also procedurally generated. If you don't know what that means, it means that it's basically RNG on what map you get, what enemies you're facing, what weapons you might end up finding, and all that stuff.
It's like you're
It's
you're essentially
yeah,
taking a handful of dice, throwing them on the
yeah.
table, and matching up the numbers, and boom.
And again, what this is feeling like is way more of like a battle royale, where you're just dropping in on the map, you ride in on the bird, you drop in on the map. And for me, I played like four or five games back to back in the 2 hour time slot that I had. I got the same drop, same map. Now, when I was watching Mika, apparently in the two different betas that she played, she actually got a different starting point. Because when she dropped into the starting point that I was going into, she was like, "Wait, this is a different area." I'm like, "What? Huh?" So I don't know exactly that. I didn't see it for myself, but I was just going from what she was saying of it's a different area and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, so maybe there is multiple drop points. I don't know. I'd have to play it more, in all honesty, to tell you otherwise. But from what I experienced myself, what I seen, same area. You could run to your left, grab Grace Point, run up to the right, beat up a couple guys. There's 4 chests there. It's not shared. It's shared loot. It's not duplicate loot, also, or individual loot. So if somebody else picks up a weapon, they yoink the weapon from you, then you're fucked. Then you have to go run. Yeah, there is no fall damage, and you can sprint without torrent, so you can just haul ass across the map, get to another point, pick something up over there. This is also the thing too. Is like everybody kind of just spreads the fuck out because it's shared loot, and they go to different points on the map to try and get their stuff up. Maybe I think my first run I was halfway exploring, but a lot of times what I was doing, I was just trying to upgrade as much as possible, because I'm like, it's fucking, it's a FromSoft game, you need to get your character
It's
buffed.
something like that where there's only a couple chests in the area and it's shared loot. I eliminate the shared loot, make it character specific loot. Everybody can open the chest, but each character
um
gets
kind of is.
Everybody gets a specific loot drop
So I mean,
for their character.
every character can use whatever weapon sets and all that stuff. Like the mage could run around with a shield and a great sword if the mage wants to. It doesn't work too well, but everybody can do all that stuff. It's not like there is a specific class setup in it, but it's just the fact of like, oh, like, you know, if I want a regular sword, then I'm like, if I'm looking for the Rivers of Blood in an RNG drop in a chest, let's say, I'm gonna have to split off from the group, go over here and do all that stuff. Now they can change this though, that where everybody's individual loot is, you know, they pick that stuff up. That can be changed by the tail end of the game. But it's just the whole, I don't know. It's just the whole aspect of it feels more like Apex Legends than like a Chalice dungeon to me. Threw me the fuck off. I'm like, man, I am so used to dropping into a From Software game, taking my time. You know, if it takes me 2 hours to get from point A to point B, I'm a happy guy. I'm checking corners. I'm getting surprised by a couple enemies. I'm doing that. That's the ass opposite of what this is, where it is like, oh, it is so fast paced. You don't have any rest, and you have to get into the circle. You have to, and then you have, if you don't go as fast paced as possible to upgrade your character, then you're getting into the boss fight. And I had this happen out of like, I think it was like 5-6 games I played. At least 2 of them, I went into the boss fight with no health packs and all that shit because there was no gray sight around. So I'm like, I get in there, I'm just getting dropped over and over and over and over and over again because I have to go so fast paced to get, you know, because you got the ring closing in on you, that I didn't have time enough to go find a gray site to reset my health packs. I didn't have time enough to upgrade. I didn't have time enough to actually get my loot up because I was trying to figure out where the fuck am I supposed to be going here. So again, it's just that the rush of it. I think my first impression of it was, oh my god, this feels like a TikToker's brain version of the FromSoft game. Like, what the fuck is going on with this? I don't know. I'm like, I am very curious to see what this game runs like in solos. I am actually very curious on that, to see if the pace slows down a lot, because that's actually one of the things, you know, when you play any From Software game with 2 or more people, the game goes way quicker because everybody's just rushing. Okay, yes, I know you got to hit this, you got to hit this, you got to hit this, get to boss fight. All right, we're going to beat this thing up. I'm just trying to level up. You always have that rush to finish everything because people are trying to grind through and level up everything. It's that same speed. You can't take your time. You can't actually like just enjoy the experience. It's just like, no, get it done, get it done, get it done. And then this is also incentivized because you have the ring. And I've seen some people complain about the ring. It's too fast. I've seen a lot of people complain that they want just solos. I've seen majority of everyone is liking the game overall, but like I said, it's just, I don't know. Like I'm trying to think of like what would be like the redeeming thing, because at this point I don't think I care to buy this for $50 or $40 or whatever that it is.
I have almost no will to buy it at all, period.
I think if this went on like PlayStation Plus, or if it went on sale for like $20 or something, I'd be way more inclined. But at the same time, like I said, I think my biggest worry on it is just that it's going to, if this thing is profitable to a high degree level, that it's going to turn into the whole, like, you know, like I said, GTA Online thing. And then all of a sudden the shareholder is going to be like, wait a second, that's the reason why, if there is ever a time to push for either a new Armored Core or a Bloodborne, it is now. And even if you like, you know, Nightreign and whatnot, screw it. If you also like Bloodborne, push for Bloodborne and really give that push, because then even if you like Nightreign, you get in a double game at that point. So all of us that don't like Nightreign, we get it's a win-win situation basically for everyone. That might be one of my biggest gripes with it now.
You wouldn't feel as push because you wouldn't be sitting here beating on this sub boss, and then all of a sudden that ring's like, tick, 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 and then you got the boss that I'm almost dead, and now you're like, fuck, here comes the storm. Fuck, I gotta stop doing this. I gotta run. I gotta fucking run, otherwise I'm gonna be all.
I mean, if there's a timer on it, you're in that same boat though. If you have 20 minutes to get all your loot together and then get over to the boss fight, that's still then you might as well just have the storm there. So
But to me, I personally feel like I don't feel like I'm pressured. Like I'm getting
I do.
getting.
Like, what's the fuck's the difference? It's still a timer.
Well, I look
It's
at it
like,
this way: you got that ring coming in, and you're sitting here beating on those balls, beating on those balls, beating on those balls, and then that ring comes in. It's eight. Yeah, you can sit here and get fucked up by the storm while you're trying to finish this boss off to get that loot. Versus, ding, you're pulled away from the boss. But then it's your own fault because you weren't paying attention all the time. You see the impending timer coming in at you, and then you start feeling pressured, and then you start fucking up.
you know what? Okay, here's what I would, if they have, or if they make a mode where it takes out the whole, like, first, of course, solos and duos add in there, especially duos, because like that's the biggest complaint I've seen so far is where the fuck is my 2-player mode.
Mm-hmm.
I think if they took the ring away and they made it where it's just like, okay, here's a slice of the map and this leads to a boss fight, and you go around that little, or here's an area and then a slice of the map where maybe there's like you talk to a lore character or something there, and then it leads into the boss fight. So there's no timer, there's no nothing at all. It feels actually more or less like a roguelite, where it's like, okay, I'm just getting all my, either I'm getting my XP or I'm getting my, it's kind of in a way Hades, the way they got that set up. So you have that map, you drop in, you're either going for that XP run or you're going for the, I need to get, my weapons up, my shield and all that stuff to go face the boss fights. Hades, the way I'd play is I have 2 different types of runs. Either I'm going for XP to upgrade main character to get him up to the speed so I can actually beat the boss fight, or 2, I'm trying to get the RNG drop so I have, all the abilities and all that stuff, so then I can, light the fucking shield on fire and when I toss it or whatever else. For Elden Ring, it would be, I'm just trying to get my sword and my shield, and or my cane whippy dippy that does all the magic stuff, doing all that stuff. Maybe an HP up or whatever. So yeah, you have that moment where you get your loot together, and then everybody goes into this one, I don't know if it's a hallway or just a path up, and then you have somebody sitting there like, you're going for boss, you better be careful, you're gonna get squashed, and then you go into boss fight. That feels more like very, very From Software. That feels like a real, and essentially, isn't that just a chalice dungeon at that point? Once again, yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, majority of everybody is really in this honeymoon phase. They're really liking the game. I think it's probably going to last for at like 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the most, like maybe a month. And then I think it's probably just going to start to fall off, and people are going to be like, okay, yeah, I've done this over and over and over again. It's it's just like Lethal Company. Everybody thought Lethal Company was going to be around for 6 months to a year, and it fell off within 4. It was like, So
Well, I just,
it's still a good game. I still have nothing wrong with it. It's just, yeah, there's only so much you can do there. Same thing with this. There's only so much you can do there. There's only so many times you can flip those maps and fight those same bosses over and over and over again. The great thing with Elden Ring overall is the challenge run. Okay, you're Miss Mika and you're doing a challenge run where you're playing it on 2 different systems and she's using a fucking dance pad. You don't get that in this. You're doing the challenge run where you are trying to speed run through all the boss fights and everything. You don't, I mean, I guess you could do that, but it's going to be way harder because of the RNG stuff. So it's kind of a pain in the ass to do it instead of being like, okay, I know what I need to get the thing done. Speed run of, I don't know, playing the game fucking blindfolded or something like that. It's like, you can't really do these types of challenge runs like you could normally do. So then it's going to come down to the developers to be like, okay, well, here is the next boss fight, but we're going to charge you for it. And again, we're back into that situation, microtransaction hell. So, anyways, yeah, I'll leave it. I'll leave it with this. Let's go Bloodborne. Let's let's get Bloodborne back. Let's remaster Bloodborne. It's time. It's time to remaster Bloodborne. So we're going to remaster Bloodborne. Anyways, go check out Beard Arsenal's channel. He streams once in a blue moon, on a blue moon, with a blue moon.
I'm getting ready to stream actually after this.
And likes to destroy his
discuss-
controller also. So
I'm going to discuss with him with potential Dark Souls run. Let's see.
So
if you have to hard drive space for it.
yeah, so like, sub, share. I don't have my sub button over here. That's the only thing I'm missing. So I have to go back over to the other screen. But yeah, just remember to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Go drop a sub over to Beard Arsenal for him joining me on this Nightreign breakdown of sorts. And you know what to do. So yeah, Nightreign. I don't see myself doing a launch night stream or checking it out unless it comes to like Game Pass or something. Because at this point, I just want to go at my own pace. And again, I am that guy that's like, I can't fucking stand co-op Souls games on the first run. But also, there is like very little lore to it too. So it's just like that everything that gets your attention is not there. So yes, I will probably be skipping Nightreign. I'll check it out off from other people's streams, and we'll see what ends up happening. Anyway, so that's going to do it for this one. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And as always, I will see you next time.